Good afternoon, my friends. It's Simon down here from 2A Digital, and today going to be introducing technical SEO. So up until now, we've talked a little bit about who shouldn't be using SEO and what you can expect from SEO, and we've actually started on some of the basics. So if you've missed those videos, go to the website, 2adigital.com, go to the Facebook group, go into my personal profile, and you'll find those videos. So it's basically getting things like Google Search Console, Bing Webmaster Tools, having a sitemap, robots.txt, and whether or not you should be using SEO, and if you do, what you should expect from it. So all of those videos are already out there for you, ready to go. Before we get started, as usual, please, as ever, if you're on the live, please do say hi. I'll shout you out if I see you comment. Give the video a like, please. That would be very helpful. If you're seeing this on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Lots more videos coming your way. So on that note, let's crack on. Technical SEO. So when we're talking about technical SEO, what are we talking about? So it's essentially what you're going to be doing on your website, on the platform that your website's hosted on, and how you set up the structure of your website such that it is appealing, useful, and attractive to the search engines. So it's essentially the foundations of your website for ranking on search engines. Like I said, you've already made a start on SEO if you've been following along these videos. So when you created the sitemap, whether it was XML, HTML, or both, and when you created the robots text and uploaded that to the root of your website, they're actually parts of technical SEO, and they're going to help the search engines understand what your site's about, what content you've got, what it's about, and how it's being indexed, etc. So whether you want it indexed, and then they'll do the the searching, the crawling of your content, and essentially give it the score, the page rank score, which will determine where it ranks in any given search. So website foundations are things like page speed, how fast is it, what is the structure, so the layout of your content, how it's structured in terms of the layers. So you might have different areas of your website in terms of services, properties available, about us, etc. And then in your content, that might be structured into categories and subcategories, and then the layers of content, and all that's part of the structure. Having it configured in such a way that it shows up well on mobiles. So is it mobile friendly? There's lots of different areas. So it's the various SEO elements that will cover the technical SEO, and these do overlap into other categories, because essentially all of SEO is technical. I mean, it's all online, it's all digital, but we split them up into different areas. But in terms of the SEO elements, we're going to look at content optimization is part of it, but that also falls into on-page SEO, and the relevance of the content, the crawlability of your site and its content, how fast pages render, how indexable things are, like I said, mobile friendliness. Then you've got security, SSL certificates, the structured data, and the user experience are all technical elements that you want to get right for the search engines to really sort of look at your website and your content favorably. There is much more to it than that. Obviously, those are sort of top-down levels, but in terms of SEO and whether or not it's right, I mean, we have talked about this in previous videos, and whether or not you should be using SEO, but the sort of the next layer of that, the next level of that is, are you the person that should be doing SEO for your business on your website? I'll talk about that a little bit now, because it is quite important. One of the things with SEO is it's not something that you can do once or do for a little while and then have it work for you, forever and more. It just doesn't work like that, especially if you're in a competitive niche, and property is competitive already, certainly on a local level between agents. There's always lots of agents in every given town. But in terms of more and more agents going online and building their digital footprint, the online space is getting more crowded as well. So whilst it has been possible in the past, and there will always be the exception to the rule where somebody did something once 2 years ago and it's still ranking on Google, yay for them. In property, in estate agency, in looking at ranking for terms to do with whether it's commercial, whether it's managing landlords, property deals in terms of investors, looking for ROI, commercial conversions, HMO conversions, whatever it is, it's getting really, really competitive. And so the idea that you can do something like SEO once, go and spend a few weeks getting it all sorted out and optimizing everything and then just leaving it's not going to work. So you've got to consider that once you start learning SEO, it is definitely a rabbit hole. You are going to get deeper and deeper. The more you learn, the more you realize there is to learn. You're essentially embarking on a path where you're setting yourself up to become an SEO expert for your industry. Whether that's your intention or not, if you start on the SEO path, that's ultimately where it's going to lead you. The reason being is, like I say, you can't just do it for a week or two or a month or two and then leave it, because whilst you may get some results, they won't last, and it's something that you really need to be building on consistently over a long period of time. And that's going to essentially, it's going to set you up as a local expert. It's going to position you in such a way where more and more of your content becomes, searchable, available, is something that gets shown more and more to people, certainly in your area, but possibly further afield as well. As time goes on, the more you do it, because you're going to be building your content, your internal linking structures. You're going to be building out backlinks, and you're going to be putting your brand out there. And you'll probably, if you follow, later on, I'll be talking about building backlinks. So some of the strategies will be, you'll start to do more with news publications, local syndication, podcasts, even some guest blogging. And I know it's got a bit of a bad rap, but guest blogging can work if it's done in the right way on the right sites. So all of these things are things that need to be a part of your day-to-day business strategy. It's no different than you putting your properties out there, going looking for new sources of properties, doing your advertising, talking to people, networking. SEO is going to become a part of your day-to-day activities. If that's not something that you feel like you're going to be able to sustain and keep up for the long term, and I'm not talking 6 months, I'm talking the life of your business, 2, 3, 5, 10 years, because SEO isn't going away anytime soon. As long as there are search engines, you will be able to optimize your content to rank on them. And I don't see it, certainly not in the next 5 to 10 years at least, I don't see any kind of technologies on the horizon that are going to change that in any significant way. Yes, algorithms are going to get more and more complex and more involved. And even today, Google probably don't even know themselves exactly what you have to do to rank on #1 on a page for any given search term, because there are hundreds of elements to the algorithm that determine what ranks a post. And I mean, John Mueller, lovely guy, gives out lots of helpful information, but even as expert as he is, sometimes his answers are a little bit vague, and deliberately so. They're protecting their algorithm, but sometimes it's just a question of he probably doesn't really know the answer, and he's just given you best practice as this is what they want from you. And best practice for Google and ranking on the search engines is providing good quality content that's easy to read and understand, that's well presented, that's valuable to the user. You do all that, and people start to like it, share it, comment on it, and give you the odd backlink. That's going to get you the ability to rank. So that's essentially what you're going to be learning. That's technical SEO in a nutshell. If it's not something that you feel like you're going to be doing as an ongoing part of your business, then you really ought to think about outsourcing it. You may want to make a start and just have an understanding of what needs to go on. And for that, we've got the cheat sheet. I'll drop it in the link below. I've got a mini course if you wanted to have a look at that as well, where you can go through all of the elements of SEO, and it's set out in a lesson by lesson, step by step structure. You can have a look at that well. So you've got the cheat sheet for SEO. Organically Beginner's Guide, and you've got a course that if you wanted to have a look at that and get involved and see what's involved, more than welcome to do that. But that essentially is technical SEO, and you really need to think about, if you're going to start on this journey, whether or not it's something that is of interest to you. It's something that you're able to consistently do, not necessarily day in, day out, but you will want to think about day in, day out when you're creating content, but certainly week in, week out, month on month, year on year, until you stop doing your business, because that's what it takes to really generate the right type of SEO and apply the technical and the on-page and the off-page and the keyword research and competition, keyword competition research. All of that needs to be done on an ongoing basis. And whilst it will get easier over time, it's not something that you can just set and forget. So I hope that helps with understanding a bit about the technical SEO. Like I say, I'll drop some links below, and feel free to go and check out the free download or have a look at the course. And yeah, next video we'll dive into a bit more of the technicalities of SEO and what you need to do to make your site compliant for the search engines. So that's it for now. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon and take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.